There's about 3 watches in my collection in my watch box that I haven't reviewed yet. I've had them for a while. In fact, one of them is this. This is the IWC. I've had this for 14 months and I just did an introductory video, but I've not reviewed it. I've been a little bit selfish. I've been wearing it, enjoying it, but I'm glad I have, because I'm going to share with you guys what I've actually experienced, why I bought this particular watch. And is it a keeper for me? Absolutely yes. Cut to the chase, yes it is, because it is phenomenal in so many ways that I've experienced, that it's taken me 14 months to get this out. But I want to share certain attributes that a watch gives me that maybe some reviewers don't share, and you can only really experience that over time. First and foremost, I bought this watch pre-owned. I bought it secondhand. The watch itself is pretty expensive. They're around $13,500 Australian. That is a lot of money. So I managed to find a pre-owned one. It's a 2018 model. I specifically wanted this watch because it's one of the last models made pre-in-house. I didn't want an in-house movement for several reasons. Number one, the value, the highly modified value in this is fantastic. It's been a workhorse. The watch is really thin. It's slender. It is so thin. It's been one of the most comfortable watches I've had in my watch box. Apart from the Omega Aquaterra, this thing here wears like a dream. Now it's all dial, so it does look bigger on the wrist. It presents well, and that's the beauty of it. I love its legibility. I bought this watch for basically 2 reasons. Number one, it is legible. It's gorgeous, and it's probably one of the reasons why I bought the Dornbluth subconsciously, because the Dornbluth itself is amazing in its legibility. These watches are pretty much the same watch. They're very legible. That's a chronograph. That's not. It's got a beautiful decorated movement. It's done superbly. So different categories, but I think subconsciously, yeah, I'm drawn to something that's simple, it's clean, and this IWC ticks that box perfectly. Now, why the chronograph? Well, for me, it's my favorite complication. Out of all complications, I've always loved chronographs. I use them for motorsports. I use them for timing things. In fact, I'm a little bit like Jerry Seinfeld. A recent video that he did, for those who know Jerry, he's got Breitlings in his collections, chronographs, and he went into a restaurant and he said to the lady, "Look, a table for 2, please." And the lady said, "Certainly, sir, that'll be 5 minutes." And he goes, "No problems." So, I'm the same. I love timing things, and having a chronograph handy is really, it's ideal for me. Now, this particular variant is the one that I was looking for. It's got an opaline style dial. It's got blued hands, Arabics. Like I said, the legibility, it's striking. It's a pocket watch on my wrist. It's what IWC does best. They're known for legibility, they're known for pilots' watches, different materials that they use for their case construction, and of course ingenuity in a lot of their movements. I think the dial layout, the way this watch looks and presents itself, it pretty much hasn't changed its look or design from its first inception. I think that's saying something. That's a really cool watch. Having a value in this, for me, it sort of made sense, because come down the track where I need to service a watch, I'd rather have something that's serviceable from any reputable watchmaker rather than having to send it back to IWC or to the manufacturer. And I've always been like that, guys. For me, I'm not into the hype about it's got to be an in-house. I don't care. I know that when the right time comes, my Grand Seiko spring drive is going to have to go back to Japan. And that's a bit of a bummer. Now, another thing that I've experienced with this particular watch over the last 14 months, it's so easy to match up with different straps. And having a watch that's so easy to get different types of looks out of, for me, just adds more versatility and more fun into the watch box. From one watch, or 2 watches, or 5 or 8 in my case, it keeps it fresh, where you can continually change the look of them just by a strap. We all know that. Now, in saying all that, what are the gripes or room for improvement of this watch? Because no watch is exempt, and for me, for me it's not a gripe, but I'm going to share this with you guys anyway. There's been some rotor noise. That value, you can hear it. I actually like it. I actually like it with any watch. I've had some older Omegas which feature the same movement, and I've always liked it. This rotor wobble, for me, it makes me feel that I've got a mechanical watch on my wrist. I know, it reminds me, I'm not a soft guy, I'm pretty strong, so I can handle a bit of rotor wobble on my wrist. I've got hairy, manly Greek arms, so I think I'm built a little bit tough in that department. But on a serious note, I've never had an issue with that. I really like it when a watch gives me feedback, whether it's a chronograph, whether it's a bit of rotor wobble, I don't have a problem. And another room for improvement for me, I think at retail, these are way too expensive. They're probably overpriced because of the name, because of the status and all that. I get that, but you know, I source my watches pre-owned if I think they're just too expensive. Sometimes you can't avoid that, but in this case, I was very lucky. I found a pre-owned watch from a gentleman I know. I've bought a few watches from him. Box, papers, pretty much mint. Happy days. Now, one thing that I would have loved to see on this watch, I would love to see a higher water resistance. I would love to see this watch with maybe 100 meters just to sort of suit my lifestyle a little bit more. At the moment, what is it? I think 30 meters. That's pretty much nothing. That's dress watch territory. So that's not a lot of water resistance for a watch that you want to incorporate into your lifestyle. So where water activities are concerned, just be aware of that. Everything else about this watch I really like. Its design elements, the way the dial is balanced, the way that the sub dials at 12 and 6 cut off the 12 and 6. I like that. That's actually it's not a design flaw. A lot of manufacturers were doing it in the past. They're still doing it. I love that sort of look because I think subconsciously you still see the 12. You still see the 6. So it's not something like, oh, I wish they hadn't cut off the 12 or the 6. I actually like that. The fact that it's got no date is also a huge plus. You get up, you give it a couple of squirts, you wind it, set the time, walk away. One thing I must say about IWC, this particular movement being a value that's highly modified, the accuracy is well within chronometer spec. In fact, it's running at about +1, +2 seconds per day. For a mechanical watch, you really can't ask for more than that. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. My experience with this IWC Portugieser, it is forever staying in the watch box. There's watches in here that are not leaving. I've shared that with you. I will try to share a state of the collection before the end of this year. I'm very busy with my photography. Everyone wants everything done before Christmas, so I'll see how I go. I'll see what I can get out because I also want to review the Dawn Bluth. This might not get done before the end of the year. I want to also share what this has behaved like on the wrist for the last 9 months. Similar to the IWC, but also very, very different in a good way, which is fantastic. So I think choosing particular watches for my own personal collection, my only suggestion that I try to share occasionally is that try to keep it real. If you're in this hobby and you've got watches and you're collecting or you just passing through, try to keep it real. Try not to spend too much cash. It can get very pricey, it can get very expensive, and it can get out of hand, especially with families are struggling with money, with food and all the rest. Watches are not a necessity. I can pick any one of these 8 watches and live gladly with it for the rest of my life. I don't need 8. I really just need 1. And that's how it should be. Ideally, we should have one watch like everyone else in the past, but we're living in a state of consumerism. We can get anything these days, and we're very spoiled. We're very privileged and we're very spoiled, and I think that's a situation or a position we should not take for granted. So thanks for watching, guys. My thoughts on the IWC. Adore this watch. So glad that it's in my possession. It will stay forever. I'll hand it down to my son, maybe my daughter. She's got a few of my watches. But thanks again for watching. Be well, be safe. Enjoy this hobby. Enjoy what you do. Enjoy your families. Enjoy the holidays. And we'll see you in the next one.